All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to welcome you to our stream. This is your host of the evening, DJ Just Jay with Just Dimes ENT. We are representing the Soto podcast. As you guys know, we advocate for children first. We're going to talk about this story because it involves not only a child, but we're going to actually have a positive update to this story. So I hope you guys tune in with an open mind and an open heart. We're going to talk about this young lady, and authorities say that her boyfriend or her baby's father by the name of Raquel, Raquuill, middle name S, last name Holland, Holland, 23 years old, out of Sharon Hill, Pennsylvania. Sharon Hill, Pennsylvania. And he shot and killed this young woman right there by the name of Shekira Adams. And I'm going to spell that for you. It's SHE apostrophe KIERRAH. A little bit of a difficult name to pronounce, but I understand it because it's kind of broken down and hyphenated. But nonetheless, that's a very common thing in our community, in the Black community, when it comes to giving our children unique names. But nonetheless, that's her name. She's age 18 years old, and she really, really looks young, and maybe that's just because I'm getting really old, but 18 years old. She was shot and killed by her, what they call baby daddy, okay? Now, the baby daddy, again, Raquel Holland, shot that baby that's 11 months old, and that baby's name is Raquel Jr., 11 months old. And then he also turned the gun on himself over the weekend in southeastern Pennsylvania. Now, how many of these stories have I done just like this? You guys know that we did a story recently. You guys can scroll back in the videos of a murder-suicide, okay? But nonetheless, the bodies of two adults and the wounded child were found Saturday afternoon in a Sharon Hill home. It was about 4:30 p.m. Saturday when police received a call to respond to the Laurel Road residence for a report of two bodies. Holland's father, the shooter's father, became concerned Saturday and went to check on his son. And we're going to get to that. So he forced his way into the apartment, which was deadbolted, that they were living in. and he discovered the bodies of both Adams and Holland on the bedroom floor, covered in blood, as was their wounded son. That's got to be a horrific thing to see. That's got to be disturbing on so many different levels. Now, Police Chief Richard Heron Jr. said that the deaths of Shekira Adams of Philadelphia and Raquel Holland were ruled officially a murder-suicide. Okay? Now, the boy's father shot the little boy, Raquel Jr., the boy's mom, and then turned the gun on himself. Now, while Adams had gunshot wounds to her face and torso, Holland suffered a gunshot wound to the side of his head because he took his own life. A .40 caliber Glock was found near his body, and Heron officials said that they found 6 spent shell casings as well as an extra magazine for the Glock in the bedroom. And I'm going to show you guys who I believe to be Raquel S. Holland. Let me back up just a moment, because I found it. Now, I ain't going to lie. This is kind of one of those weird situations where normally they'll put the father's face out there or the man's face out there, and usually they'll retract the woman's face. But in this case, they actually did not put very many pictures of this dude out at all. And this is who I believe with almost positive certainty, that is Raquel S. Holland, 23 years old. He had multiple Facebook pages, but it was very difficult to find. But once I started lining up the photos, these photos seem to match up with the same individual that was living out there in Pennsylvania. This is also another one of his photos from a video. So that's a screenshot from a video. So if I'm wrong about that, you can email me, let me know, but I'm almost positive I have the right person. All right? As you guys know, I don't do any stories without giving you guys full disclosure. Now, again, while Adams had gunshot wounds to her face and torso, Holland suffered a gunshot wound to the side of his head with a .40 caliber Glock pistol, and they found 6 spent shell casings. 6. Meaning 2, maybe 3 for her, 2 for the baby, and 1 for him. I'm assuming he only shot himself once. So he had to have shot her 2, maybe 3 times, but because the baby actually had 2 gunshot wounds, okay? So we're going to talk about that a little bit more. While you guys are watching our stream, please just click the thumbs up, scroll down. I'm sure we don't have very many thumbs up right now, but if you would, it'll share our stream and let other people know that we are live right now telling this story. So please allow more people to come in by notifying them. Help your neighbors. Click the thumbs up, please, okay? Now, when the police arrived, they found 11-month-old Raquel Jr. had been shot twice. And this is the scary part. Not only was he shot twice, but they found him crawling around. They found this baby crawling around after being shot, after his mom being shot, and then the father killing himself. So you guys got to imagine what not only walking in on that is like, but then to walk in and see the baby moving, like just, whew. It's got to be very, very hard to just deal with that. Now, they say that Holland had a permit to carry a weapon, but that gun was registered to Holland's brother. That's a whole nother separate issue, okay? Now, Sharon said that the boy had gunshot wounds to his left thigh and abdomen, but here's the positive part of the story, because I know it seems like it's grim. The positive part of this story is that they expect her son to live, Raquel Jr. They expect the little boy to live because as of right now, the latest update that we have is that he's in stable condition at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, which is great news. I want you guys to understand. Let's pray for him. Let's pray that he makes a strong, speedy recovery. And let's hope that one day he lives long enough to be able to see us tell this story about his miraculous recovery. Because I'm just saying, more times than none, when a baby is shot like this or impacted like this, they don't make it. So the fact that he makes it through this is going to be an absolute miracle. And I am so happy to be able to at least report that little bit of daylight in this story, okay? Now, authorities said it's possible that Adams may have been holding her baby during the gunfire, and the father may have believed he killed his son. Officers believed Adams was holding the child and protecting him from Holland when she was shot. I don't know what was going on in her head at that moment. I don't know whether you were holding the baby in order to protect him, but that sounds very, very possible. So we'll just go with that. We're not going to even talk anything else about that portion of it. But that's what they believe. They say that it's my belief that the mother was trying to shield the baby, Sharon said. Now, the injured baby, along with his dead parents, were discovered at the apartment by a family member, which the family member I'm confirming for you guys was Mr. Holland's father. Okay? He was the one that broke in the apartment and found them there. The baby boy was admitted to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia in stable condition, and he is now under the care of County Children and Youth Services as they look for surviving family members whom to place him with. Now, Hollins resided in the basement of his father's residence. I want y'all to hear this. Excuse me. My apologies. Holland resided in his father's basement which is a converted apartment consisting of a bedroom and a bathroom. Keep in mind, he's 23 years old. Keep in mind, he's out here making babies. These are the type of people that we continue to keep procreating with, these irresponsible type people. Where were you when you were 23 years old? Well, I know I can tell you guys where I was when I was 23 years old. I was already knee deep in a career that I was working at the time, bringing in enough money to not only support me, but to support my daughter and her mom. Had a job that had insurance, had life insurance, had dental insurance, had health insurance. Because I know a lot of us don't believe that it's an important thing for us to have life insurance, right? But I was able to take care of my family at 23 years old. Lived out on my own since I was 18 years old. Okay? So I just want to throw that out there. I vividly remember my being 23 years old. Now, his last known contact was with a brother Friday night. Now, meanwhile, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of story about their relationship. So I'm sure you guys want to know what led up to this. The young couple had a history of domestic violence, police say. Police were called to the house once before back in October 2018 for a domestic dispute. But in the wake of the murder-suicide, investigators say they discovered deep-rooted issues in the home, and Adams had told officials that Holland was not allowing her to leave the apartment. Holland was not allowing this young woman, Kiera, to leave the apartment for whatever reason. Whether it's working, whether it's to get out, just whatever. Like, I mean, you can't do that. That's against the law. You can't do that, period. But not only that, you have somebody that's trying to tell this girl, being age 18, that she can't leave her own apartment when he lives under his own father's roof. I want you guys to understand that. He's 4 years older than her, maybe more, maybe slightly more, but at least 4 years older than her. And he's not only living off of her, but living off of his own dad. And I just don't think that's a productive situation to be procreating and making kids and bringing them into these unstable situations. Am I wrong for saying what I just said? You guys can type what you think in the chat. Let me know if I'm wrong. If you're watching this on the replay, let me know if what I said is inaccurate. I don't care really too much about people's feelings if it hurts their feelings. I want to know if what I said is factually inaccurate. That's what I want to know. Let's move on. Adams told officials that Holland was not allowing her to leave the apartment, and after police intervention, Adams decided to stay back. We learned from interviewing family members that there have been domestic problems where he has threatened her in the past. That's another problem. Because if he threatened her in the past, to my young ladies out there that are listening, I know we usually have a larger, not a larger, but a older audience, not really a younger audience. We don't really too much talk about stories in a manner that draws in a younger crowd. But if you have young kids, young adults, then this is something you got to express to these ladies. That if you are dealing with a thug, then what also are you dealing with? Somebody want to post that in the chat for me? Anybody familiar with my show? Let me know. If you date thugs, what happens? I want my young ladies to understand this. Don't put yourself nor your children or your family at risk because you like thugs. I'm going to say that again. Just because you like thugs don't mean everybody else do. If that's your preference, if that's what you want to choose, and that's how you want to live your life because you believe that that's what God left for you, then fine. Do it on your own. Stop involving other people. You want to live the dangerous life and walk that line? Then fine. When you date thugs, you date death. I want you guys to understand what I just said. I'm not just putting this evil omen on this dude and not actually know a little bit of his history. You guys can also not only see from some of the photos, but we actually looked up some information on him. We're going to get to that here in just a second. So I'm going to tell you guys this. All right. Now, after speaking, let me see. Yes. At the time, the couple had argued because Holland was refusing to let Adams leave. Sharon said, citing a report, after speaking with the police, Sharon and Adams ultimately agreed to stay at the apartment and did not want the police to be involved. So therefore, there was no PFA, which is a protective order of abuse or protection from abuse order. There was none in place because she didn't want to involve the police. So what do you say about that? She didn't want to involve the police, but you have somebody that is volatile and dangerous around your kid. And you probably knew that he was dangerous and volatile prior to procreating with him, prior to having irresponsible sex with him. Therefore, this situation culminates itself into something dangerous. Now, why am I saying this in the wake of a tragedy? Because we need to understand how we got to where we are now. Okay? Now let's keep going. Holland was arrested April the 8th in Philadelphia on charges of reckless endangerment and DUI involving a controlled substance. Meaning he was high and drunk. Okay? Now Sharon, who was awaiting records in the case from Philadelphia, could not be immediately address any details regarding the reckless endangerment altercation in the case, but according to online records, Holland's next court appearance in this case was listed for May the 15th. So he was currently involved with going to court over some bull crap that he was doing. Okay? Now, the incident came to light Saturday afternoon after the child's paternal grandfather, which is his dad, arrived at his son's basement apartment to check on him and found the door to the house deadbolted from the inside. He then managed to force his way into the apartment and saw the bodies of his son and girlfriend lying on the bedroom floor, and he immediately called the police and said that the couple was dead and that their son, who was covered in blood, was crawling near his mother's body at age 11 months old. That's got to be the most insane thing you could possibly see. Let's go ahead and get this fair use popping, and I'll show you guys the one and only video that they had out there on this news story, because I didn't find very much in the media about this. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. If you guys would, please share the show. We're doing pretty good right now. Just hit the thumbs up. Just click it. Click it one time. It ain't gonna break yourself. Just click it. Thank you.
An 18-year-old mother murdered in Delaware County. Her 11-month-old baby also shot and under doctor's care right now. The gunman, police say, is the father of that child who then took his own life. It's Tuesday afternoon. I'm Brian Taft.
I'm Monica Melpass in for Sherry Williams. The big story on Action News today is the tragedy for one family in Delaware County. Police say they were called to the same home for trouble between the parents before the murder-suicide.
Action News reporter Maggie Kent live now outside Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, where the nearly one-year-old child is being treated right now. Maggie?
Brian and Monica, that 11-month-old boy is orphaned now, miraculously, who survived being shot 2 times and left alone in that home until a family member came to check on them.
We learned through interviews with family members that there have been ongoing domestic problems between the two of them where he has threatened her in the past.
Police were called to this house once before on the 100 block of Laurel Road in Sharon Hill back in October of 2018 for a domestic dispute. Inside lived 23-year-old Raquel Holland, 18-year-old Shakira Adams, and their 11-month-old boy Raquel Jr. On Saturday, a family member would break down the door to find Holland fatally shot Adams, shot his own baby, and then turned the gun on himself. The baby suffered 2 gunshot wounds to the torso and leg. Thankfully, he will survive.
That day when the officers got there, he was actually on the ground, crawling around the floor, not crying.
That little boy is now in the care of Children and Youth Services, but they are looking to place him with family members. We've also posted a link to the domestic violence hotline on our website, 6abc.com. Live at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, Maggie Kent, Channel 6 Action News. Monica.
Thank you, Maggie.
And I'm going to tell you guys this again. The reason why I tend to shed light on these particular stories is because I believe in the media it's not being covered enough. The importance and significance of these stories aren't talked about. They definitely don't take a magnifying glass and look at these things and say, how did we get here? How do we stop it? Well, I'll tell you guys this. I don't think it's the responsibility of media outside of our culture. I'll say that again. Media outside of our culture, it's not their responsibility to not only tell us what's going on with our people, but to show how to correct what's going on with our people. And I'll tell you guys the funniest thing. It seems that whenever I get these emails, because I do get a lot of positive emails, don't get me wrong, because I responded to a few of them earlier today, if not like really, really early this morning. But I tend to get a lot of malicious comments. I get a lot of malicious emails, calling me names, calling what I do a terrible thing. People that are constantly trying to tear down the platform that we have built to advocate for children first. And I think that is a tragedy in itself. I don't want to put the focus on me, but what I want to say is I think that our focus and where we are focusing our anger and outrage, we're focusing it on the wrong thing. We are focusing our anger on the wrong thing. 100% of our anger should be towards Raquel S. Holland, age 23 years old. 100% of our anger and outrage should be directed towards him. Okay? Now, I don't know what his relationship was with his dad or anything like that, how he ended up where he is or anything like that. But nonetheless, he did a very heinous act. He definitely didn't seem like he was walking a line to be a productive citizen of the United States of America. And you guys know I talk about that a lot. Being productive citizens, law-abiding citizens. It's an important thing. If we would all learn to just follow the law, it would make our world a much, much better place. Okay? Because those laws are put in place for a reason. If we break those laws, we have to deal with those things. All right? I don't believe in people circumventing the system just in order to try to get things illegally. I don't like that. I don't like people taking shortcuts. I believe that hard work will pay off. And in my opinion, in a situation like this, I don't understand. For the life of me, I don't understand why a 23-year-old man at this point is relying off of living with someone else and is not out making a living for himself. But from what I could tell, he definitely was enjoying, getting high and drinking, from what I can tell. I saw a little bit of that and hanging out and kicking it with his boys, as you can see from this photo. Looking cool. Apparently too cool to be a productive father. Whenever you become a father and a parent, your priorities have to change. Not only does that go to the fathers, but that goes to the mothers also. We can't be focused on going to the club. We can't be focused on hanging out with the friends and how they're going to view us and what they think about us and what they need from us. Our number one focus as mothers and fathers should be what this child needs, period. That should also be a thing that should squelch any and all disputes, especially when your kid is right there. And the fact that this coward, I want to call him some names, but I'm trying to keep it real PG. But the thing that really bothers me about this is the fact that he had no regard for his own kid. He tried to kill his kid. His son is going to have to grow up knowing what his father tried to do to him. And I don't think that he should have any respect for his father. He's going to have to rewrite his own legacy and become something positive. And I would hope to hear that this is going to be a success story later on in life. I'm actually very happy that this young, beautiful little baby boy is going to survive. I'm saddened. You know, it'd be nice if the mother survived. It seemed like she was a nice, beautiful, very, very, very young little girl. I call her a little girl. She's a little girl to me. I mean, I'm much older than her. I'm almost old enough to be her daddy. That's the crazy part. Y'all might not think I'm that old. I'm almost old enough to be her father. But she seemed innocent, and too many times our young girls and our young sisters get hooked up with these bad boy dudes because they think that that's what they're supposed to do. They think that's who they can hold on to, and they think that's who's going to protect them. Well, sometimes whenever you buy that tiger, you buy that lion, and you had that thing sitting up in your house, sometimes that tiger and lion's wild instincts will turn around and take its anger and aggression out on you. It's a very dangerous thing to do. If that's what you want to do, I just say don't involve kids. Don't procreate. Because there's no reason why this little boy should have been subjected to what he was subjected to. That is amazing that he is 11 months old and withstood 2 gunshots. I know grown people that couldn't have been shot twice, let alone once, and survived it. I've watched people, real grown people, real big people, die from getting shot once. And the fact that this little baby boy is going to survive, I think that's just amazing in itself. So sometimes people look at these stories and say that they're sad. In this case, this is actually a lose and a win. We lost this young girl by the name of Kiera, but her son is going to survive. And I hope that somebody in that family truly honors the privilege of being able to raise this little boy back to good health and to be able to get him to a point to where he can live a full life. I would love to see that. If they had a GoFundMe up, I would definitely love to put that out there, but I was not able to find a GoFundMe after hours and hours and hours of looking. Again, if you guys need parenting tips or anything like that, you guys know that you can always email me for tips with regard to discipline and stuff like that. But if you guys ever need helpline information, I'll make sure and put that in the description box. Or if you guys are facing domestic disputes or anything like that, you can actually Google search that information, and those people are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't leave yourself in a precarious situation, especially if you have children. All right, we got to do better. We got to choose better, and hopefully that we can learn as a community and get better. All right, that's the end of this story. We have a lot more to do. Thank you guys so much for coming through and listening. This is your boy DJ Just Jay. I'm signing off. R.I.P. to Miss Adams, and we're looking forward to a healthy recovery of her son. I would love to see him lead on a very positive legacy. Okay, thank you guys for listening. We're out.